Okay, so this one is about my transportation issues. I have had problems through my insurance getting the paratransport lift, which means I need providers that can take me in my big powered wheelchair. Now I weigh 230 pounds and my wheelchair weighs 400, so it's a total of 630 pounds. So I have to have special transportation to take me in my wheelchair because our personal vehicle does not have accommodations for me to carry that around. So I've made 4 different reservations to appointments, and only one of them they've been able to provide me with transportation. The other 3 times they've failed to even call or show up, leaving me basically stranded without a way to go to my appointment. So what we had to do was literally bring me out I'd come out to the van in my wheelchair, go out to the van, and then they'd bring the Hoyer lift outside to get me out of my wheelchair and then use the Hoyer lift to put me into the van seat, which is awkward because it takes multiple people because the height of the seat versus the Hoyer lift with me in it, they have to actually lift me and move me into the seat, which that's not too bad, but what's really bad is I had to travel a 5-hour round trip to go to, for instance, my muscle biopsy surgery, and then I had a special MRI that couldn't be done locally. It had to be done in Chicago. And I actually had to cancel those appointments and reschedule. Well, reschedule the MRI was delayed because the transportation never showed up. And then I had to rough it basically, get myself to the appointment without my wheelchair. Yes, I had to literally go to my appointment without my wheelchair and take the Hoyer. And literally I was hanging from my Hoyer lift, in the sling, hanging from my Hoyer lift in the streets of Chicago to be taken out of my van and put me into one of their hospital wheelchairs just to get to my appointment because transportation failed me. And this is just my complaint. I had my insurance lady put in a grievance for a complaint for me about how I am having problems getting to appointments and how even a certain company had picked my reservation up twice, and then the day before my appointment dropped it, leaving me with no transportation the day of my appointment. So again, this has happened 3 out of 4 times. So what I did was I contacted our local MTD service also. So trying to get around locally, it's in the winter months, being also on immunosuppressants and having to ride the bus with, the general public puts me at risk of getting infections and bacteria and stuff that could harm me and do more damage. So I need to take special transportation that's not with the general public. And then also because of weather and having to take what they call their fixed routes is a problem because I need to be able to get from point A to point B and then back home again without going through their normal fixed transit route, which will expose me to the elements and a whole bunch of other things that I do not need in the winter months or even weather seasonally. So I've put in an application for them to provide me with transportation here locally, but that still doesn't deal with the issue that I have with getting to appointments that are not local, that are out of this area, like when I have to go to Chicago for Northwestern. How do I get there? Do I keep having to rough it and take my Hoyer with me and hang from a sling in the busy streets in front of everyone to see? It's very embarrassing. It's a very dehumanizing experience to have to go through this and for it to be 2024 and to be struggling for someone like me that's severely disabled in a power wheelchair and unable to make important appointments. So I am in the process of, well, not in the process, a grievance has been filed by my caseworker for my insurance, so that's been done. And what else was there? Was another thing that I had to do. I forget. But anyway, so we're in the process of challenging this, trying to get better transportation services for me. It's very, very frustrating, and I'm sure other people have had to go through the same thing. So just raising awareness about this issue. It's very sad. So hopefully when I have my next appointment in Chicago, I do not have to rough it and go without my wheelchair and take a Hoyer lift and be hung from a sling for everybody to see and not be able to be in the comfort of my own custom power chair. So, yeah.